A blessed good morning to one and all on this, the Tuesday of Advent 4, or final week before the celebration of the Incarnation. Trusting that you would have had a peaceful night and that you are about ready to be open to all the blessings that are coming your way during this day. These early morning times are important for us in this journey. When you look outside in the early hours of the morning, there is a sense of freshness. There's a sense in which we find ourselves acknowledging the fact that all of yesterday's gunk, all of yesterday's stuff has passed off. There's a new day. The air is fresh. Outside feels like new. This is a testimony and an example of what is and should occur within. Our ability to remember and to recall in many ways is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it helps us build on yesterday to go higher. But it is a curse because if we don't know what to select from yesterday to build for tomorrow, we end up choosing materials that are not in our best interests and using them as part of our foundation or our building for the present day. And this creates tremendous hardship and difficulty in our lives. So looking at the outside, looking at the way in which nature chooses what to carry forward, I pray that we too will learn what to carry forward. And remember that everything that occurs to us is for us. But how is it for us is the important thing that we have to discern. It is not everything that is for us in its entirety. Some things are for us only from the perspective of the lesson that we've learned from them. And the lesson is all that is required to go forward. So this day, release all that has not served you from yesterday as you turn towards today. Do so as one newborn, but with the added benefit of having the knowledge of what has been of worth from yesterday and the days before. So let us now come into our place of stillness. And let us remember who we are. Remember that phrase, God with us. I am that I am. I am. is nothing that is added to me. There's nothing that can be taken away from me. I am. And this will always be the reality. Through eternity, I am. Allowing that awareness to be magnified within us. Allowing that awareness to manifest from deep within and offer testimony to who we know ourselves to be. In that stillness, know yourself. Breathe in consciously. Know yourself. For you are the one who is. You are existence. You are here. In all your fullness, you are here. Appreciate what it means to be here. Just to be. Feel that glow within. Feel that beauty, that richness, that eternal light. That is you. That is you without your possessions, without your relations. That is you without your accomplishments. That is you. And that will always be you. You cannot retire from you. No one can say to you, they no longer require you. You will always be you. It is the only thing that is truly present and real, because it is the only thing that is eternal. And only that which is eternal is truly real. And you are real. Know the reality of who you are. And let that reality be your guide through this day. Emmanuel, God with us, God in us, God as us. Reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 1, verse 11 and onwards. Then there appeared to Zechariah an angel of the Lord standing at the right side of the altar of incense. When Zechariah saw him, he was terrified and feared. But the angel said to him, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard. Your wife Elizabeth will bear a son, and you will name him John. You will have joy and gladness, and many will rejoice at his birth, for he will be great in the sight of the Lord. He must never drink wine or strong drink. Even before his birth, he will be filled with the Holy Spirit. He will turn many of the people of Israel to the Lord their God. With the spirit and power of Elijah, he will go before him to turn the hearts of parents to their children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the righteous, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord." Zechariah said to the angel, "How will I know that this is so? For I am an old man, and my wife is getting on in years." The angel replied, "I am Gabriel. I stand in the presence of God, and I have been sent to speak to you and to bring you this good news. But now, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their time, you will become mute, unable to speak, until the day these things occur." Meanwhile, the people were waiting for Zechariah and wondered at his delay in the sanctuary. When he did come out, he could not speak to them, and they realized that he had seen a vision in the sanctuary. He kept motioning to them and remained unable to speak. When his time of service was ended, he went to his home. After those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived, and for 5 months she remained in seclusion. She said, "This is what the Lord has done for me, when he looked favorably on me and took away the disgrace I have endured among my people." The word of the Lord. The scripture reading today tells us of Zechariah's experience in the sanctuary. It tells of his vision and the message brought to him by the angel Gabriel. It tells of his concern, a concern as to how possible this thing could be. It tells of his asking for a sign. How will I know this is so? Gabriel tells him that he comes from the presence of God. In other words, he's not there on his own merit. He is one sent. And Gabriel offers him the sign that he will know that these things are. Gabriel says to him, you will be unable to speak until this all comes to pass. At face value, it feels like some kind of punishment for poor Zechariah, who, in all fairness, asks a reasonable question. He is an old man. His wife, as he says, has gotten on in years. Statements in many ways reminiscent of the experience of Abraham when he was told that Sarah was to bring forth a child. But in Luke's story, Luke, unlike the Genesis story, in Luke's story, Gabriel offers this sign. He will not be able to speak. It is interesting that Zechariah is in many ways restricted in his ability to communicate. And John, when John comes on the scene, John says, I am the voice of one crying in the wilderness. It almost feels like Zechariah's voicelessness is a preparation for the voice of John. How often in our journey we are taken through what could be equivalent to voicelessness in preparation for voicefulness. I want to encourage us not to look at Zechariah's position and that circumstance that arises out of it as a punishment, but more so as a preparation, a going within, and understanding how we are all connected. You can see how his going within also in a way assists in the energy and that which is needed for John to come forth proclaiming. We tend to look at ourselves in silos as though what is happening to me in no way connects with any other person. And so oftentimes we suffer, as it were, alone. But in reality, there is nothing that is individualistic about us. We're all connected. So if we would use this experience of Zechariah this morning as a way of showing us how this world works, how God works, we may look at our discomfort in life not just as lessons for ourselves, but they may very well be impacting others, to help others to awaken. And maybe it might very well have been our choice to come into the world to play this role in order that others may awaken. Zechariah lost his voice, and you know very well that his voice returns when he names John. And then John, having been named by the voice of Zechariah, goes out into the world and becomes the voice. One should wonder at times, as we go through the various experiences in our lives, what is this for? What is this for? Should be our question. Not why is it happening to me? Because you can get the answer, why not you? So what is it for? And as we ask what is it for, we should really reflect and look around us and see the individuals in our world, in our journey. And for a moment, look at what their lives are like. Look at how our life may be impacting theirs. Look and see if there's any fruit being born in the other's life as a result of my being the way I am, or my going through what I am going through. And ask the messengers of God that surround you, what is this for? What purpose is it serving? Whose life is being impacted for good? This journey of ours is not for us alone. It can't be. Because we belong. We belong to something greater. This journey of ours is in a sense an all-in-one journey. Yes, individually we play a part, but that part, by its very nature, indicates that it belongs to a whole. So we look at Zechariah's experience and we realize what has occurred to him. And we ask, as he wanted his sign, the sign that we are, the things that are occurring to me, what are these things for? So that I do not go into despair or depression, but I look out And I recognize I'm not alone. My life does serve a purpose because the God that I serve is a great and wonderful God. He never leaves me nor forsakes me. I am not collateral damage. I am not refuge. I belong.